Welcome to another fun-filled adventure in cooking in the kitchen with Scott. Today, meatballs. What seems so simple is really so complex and takes love and care. We start out with a little Cento virgin olive oil, just a bit at the bottom of our bowl where we're going to submerge our chopped meat. And again, there's different schools of thought. I embrace the veal chopped meat mix, the blends, pork. I'm all about a little variety there. Today we're going with the old ground beef, 85%. Once we have our bowl just lightly oiled, I do next with my dry, right? So I have a little method of madness for this, and we're going to go with breadcrumb. We like to use 4C seasoned breadcrumbs.
Who the fuck are you talking to?
Nope, please be polite, the audience. Security, please. So beyond that, and pardon the interruption there, and just again a light dusting, right? This is not a whole intense medley, if you will. Next, bear with me as I grab a knife. We're going ceramic today, and I open up our beef. Again, this is an 85% lean cut, and I'm going to dump it right in. Again, I try to avoid the touching of the hands and so forth. With beef, my mom used to say, the more that your hands are touching it, the more you're condensing the fat and toughening up the meat, actually. So we're going to go with minimal hand action here. Beef in the bowl, I should say. Let's go with an egg. I'm going to start with one. I'm going to see how my mixture goes and take it from there. Pinch of salt. Tad of pepper. Pepper. Who doesn't love crushed brown pepper? I love crushed black pepper. We're going to hit it with a little onion powder. Don't put up a stink about that. Be liberal. Next, a little touch of oregano, right? Nice little sprinkle, even hit the egg. Yolk's on you. Gonna pound it now with some basil, right? If they ever make a basil cologne, I would don myself in it. Let's be liberal with the basil. And right now you're thinking, why dry? Well, first of all, it's time of year. I'm recording this on December 10th or so, the year 2018. So the fresh basil I'm not gonna buy in the store. I grow it in my backyard. I should have bought a plant in this year. I didn't, so shame on me. Touch of garlic powder. Be careful with the garlic powder. It can be a little overpowering, right? And some people prefer fresh garlic today because of time. Part of what I'm trying to teach you here how to do is make an efficient meatball. Speaking of which, I bake my meatballs. There's different schools of thought fried. I think as we get older in age, we want to be as health conscious as possible. My thoughts here are the baking gives all the good flavor. It's going to end up in my sauce, and I'm going to sneak a few dry ones out of there as my reward for cooking. But certainly, it's probably healthier than frying. Let's move along with our recipe. Now, the cheese. Yes. Today we've got a Peter Packer picked. We got Pecorino Romano, and we're going to give it a little sprinkle of that. Again, be liberal. Now it's time to get a little of the mixture, right? And I'm going to get minimal hand touching. My mom, God rest her soul. Get everything moved around. I'm using a big fork right now just to do my mixing. Get this together. And this is where I'm thinking, do I need another egg? Do I need some more cheese? Do I need some more breadcrumb? And I certainly want to be liberal with my my pepper. I'm a pepper guy. So let's hit that right there. Let's even take out our basil and give another little quick hit of the basil. I am going to do this. Little breadcrumb. Lots of cheese. Now let's do a little bit more mixing and see where we end up. This is kind of the critical time. Once I get everything rounded out here, I'm going to go back to salt. Those of you that are diabetics or have that high pressure, blood pressure thing you might be dealing with, go a little light on the salt, but I'm going to hit it probably one more time. My wife is from northern Sicily. They love their salt. Probably spent a lot of time in salt water. Here we go. I'm looking a little bit dry here for my liking, so I'm thinking, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bash up an egg, and I'm thinking, let me continue to blend here. I'm thinking this might call for just a dash of egg right here. It's a good time. I mentioned my salt. Not to insult anyone. And let's whip up that egg. While I step off stage, please enjoy the commercial. I can't disagree with that. And here we go. First learned to beat an egg when I dropped one on the kitchen floor. Should be enough pepper. I'm going to leave the rest of the dries out of this because part of the reason we bought the part 2 of the egg was to get some moisture. So you can see it took some love here. Again, to repeat our ingredients, we started out with a little bit of olive oil, the Cento virgin olive oil on the bottom of the bowl. I think we worked in some ground beef. I think the next thing that went into our bowl was our first egg. And you know, you can beat up that egg if you want to before you set it in. I've been doing this so long, it's a bit of a tradition for me. For the first one goes in whole, kind of a good luck thing. Through time, you'll learn the balance of the breadcrumb and the cheese. I think that's a lot of the magic. The things that I stressed in my meatballs today were a couple of dry ingredients, which were black pepper and basil. Obviously, salt's important if your diet allows. And I think I'm there. Let me just wash my hands and I'll make the first one. Okay, I'm back. And it's where the hands are involved. And again, but I'm not giving it a hard press, right? I'm not looking to make a marble here. And I like a small meatball. A lot of people like a big meatball, I like a small meatball. So, and just from the way that formed and felt in my hand, I'm going to say I think I'm there moisture-wise and mixture-wise. I hope I got the right blend of cheese. Tempted to add a little bit more because my wife likes it so much. One last sprinkle, right? Happy wife is a happy life. So I just added a little bit more cheese. Please allow me to give it another toss. You're my witness if I get in trouble tonight. I give a lot of attention to the cheese. And I think I'm there. I do think I am there. Why the cheese? I think Joy's mom, that's the wife's name, used to put a lot of cheese in her meatballs. Bear with me a second. And for me, initially, it was a shock. You know, it makes for sometimes a very soft meatball. And I wish I could remember, and I can't say that I honestly do. I think she baked them also. I don't think she fried them. I could be wrong. God forgive me. But cheese was definitely prevalent. Most prevalent. As a matter of fact, of all the meatballs I've eaten in my life, Grandma Isabel Made the cheesiest meatball of anybody I know. It was like a cheese ball. But I'll tell you what. At first, it took a little shock to, for me, a little Irish boy who was eating beef balls. I think my mother's idea of a meatball was take ground beef, put a little salt and pepper, and put it in a bowl. I don't remember if my mom put any. We didn't have a lot of meatballs, honestly. But I don't remember I think she did breadcrumb. I'm pretty sure she didn't do cheese. And as towards the herbs and stuff, heavens knows. Got the oven on at 350. I usually go north or south of 30 minutes with these. And again, we do a little split. We put some into the ragu, the marinara sauce, the tomato sauce, which we make from scratch. We grow the tomatoes and use the best of ingredients. And tonight's pasta, we'll make it guess what? No, we're pairing it up with a bologna sub. Tonight's pasta, we shall have, I asked for rigatoni. We'll see where that, either rigatoni or rotelli. We considered fusilli and ricotta cheese. Trying to lose a few pounds amidst all these good meatballs and good eating. And we'll show you in part 2 how these meatballs came out. But thanks a lot for your time today. Again, this is Iron Chef Scott, cooking for you at the Jersey Shore. Follow us on Mankin Mania. Have a great night.